Hello and welcome to a new program where we examine the astrology charts of famous figures to find out what they show and what they hide. I'm your host, Donna Saul, with the extraordinary astrologer Francis Dunnery, and you're listening to Behind the Curtain. Francis Dunnery is a chart-topping musician who's toured with some of the biggest names in music history. He's a producer. He fronted his own band. He's toured the world, writing songs, playing music, and performing in front of hundreds of thousands of people. But what you might not know is the power of his astrology readings. His expertise is deeply influenced by top psychologists, philosophers, mythological perspectives, and Eastern philosophies. You can book him at francisdunneryastro.com or at moonstoneandsage.com. Today, we're not only talking about the energies of the sky we're living under currently, but also, and I have been waiting, about Prince Andrew, who is now stripped of a title, so I can't even call him Prince Andrew. I'll just stop that sentence there. And he is known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Don't laugh. I mean, don't get me. I'm into the behaving of myself. He is the son of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. He has spent the first 22 years of his life as second in line to the throne behind his brother, King Charles. He is no longer a working royal, and he has spent recent years battling the fallout from his connection to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. So welcome, Francis. How are you?
Hi, Donna. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good.
Really
good.
First of all, in that great big long list that you do about me at the front, that I've done this,
I don't do you justice.
You need to add that I can also change diapers.
Okay, I'll add that in for next time. Anything else?
I did that a lot. And are we talking about what's going on in the sky first, and then Prince Andrew, or Andrew, and then what's going on in the sky?
Whatever you want to do. It's totally up to you. What are you feeling?
Well, I think what people should know is that yesterday, one of the big three, which was Neptune, went direct. And now I told you guys this a few weeks ago. I said this rollout's going to start to happen. At one point we had 6 planets in retrograde, which is, and people think it's politics, or they think they can't get right with themselves because of politics. It's not. It's because these 6 planets in retrograde, you just can't get right with yourself. There's something not right. Why do I feel this way? It's just not. There's just a kind of weird PMS thing going on in the background, right? And so the first one to go was Pluto went direct on the day that Trump signed that thing with the peace deal, or what hopefully is the peace deal. That was the first. So Pluto went direct on that day. Then we had Saturn go direct a couple of weeks ago. And now yesterday we had Neptune go direct, and then in February we're going to have Uranus go direct, and in March when we have Jupiter go direct, that's the full thing. People's going to get a massive relief. It won't be obvious, because unless you're sensitive to this sort of undercurrent of life, like once you start paying attention to it, it's obvious. But if you just go through life and you're not particularly, you're not sensitive to that stuff, or you're just not thinking in those areas, then you probably go, well, it didn't, I don't care, it didn't affect me, you might. But if you're sensitive to it, you'll know what I'm talking about, because it's going to start to, I can feel it big time now, from yesterday, just in general, like if I go back for 4 or 5 months, man, I don't know what was going, it was just awful. Everything was weird. It was just like a weird
It was a struggle. It was a constant struggle.
It's just odd, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's that's before we start talking about Prince Andrew. I think that's the good news. Now, also, I want to say, have you got any questions about that? Or are you good with that?
Sometimes we've had a couple listeners ask that when you say like Neptune goes direct, what does that exactly mean for the person? Like, what does Neptune do, and how does it affect them? Because what they have been commenting on, which I think is really interesting, is that they are learning as they're going when you talk.
Right. Well, they should go do I have a course on Udemy about astrology. It's a beginner's course. It's excellent. So they should go and do that, because it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I love how you drop this stuff, like,
Am I not supposed
every
to
now
drop
and then. No, I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great. But, when we talk about, okay, well, what am I going to say about you? You don't mention this. Like, how many shows are we before we get here?
No, we have a bunch of students on there, and they're loving it. It's an interesting way. But the best way to describe it is this: imagine you've got a ball, like like a Christmas ball or something like that, and imagine you've got this little moon that goes around it, right? Mm-hmm. When it's at the front. So you're looking at the ball, and when the little orbital planet, the moon, is going around it, it's going from left to right, say. Mm-hmm. But then when it goes round the back, it's going from right to left. Mm-hmm. Mm. You see what I mean? It appears. Yeah. This isn't exactly technically correct, but that's a way to. So when it goes round the other side, and when it goes when it shifts direction, that's what they mean by retrograde. Mm-hmm. That's the simplest way I can put it. Mm-hmm.
And does it mean? Go ahead.
It's like living life in the mirror. So, like all the letters are back to front in the mirror, or when like when the word ambulance on the front of an ambulance is written the wrong way around, so that people can look in their mirrors and see it the right way around. Well, when you go into Mercury retrograde, everything is in the mirror. And so you're making these decisions, but you don't realize you're making them in the mirror and you're looking at them the wrong way around.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's like the opposite of, in some respects.
It's like it puts the opposite thing in the equation. And so, but that's not the issue for me with Mercury retrograde or any planet retrograde. The issue is always for me the emotional thing because I can feel it. And sometimes the magnets pull that hard sometimes. I can see it. Mm-hmm. Like the world looks, I don't even know what I'm in. It's like what I can't make. It's like what's going. It's like what's going on. It's like there's usually a couple of days in the middle of Mercury retrograde where it's just like, damn, that's that's heavy. It's pulling real hard. And so when they go direct, there's a release on that, and things can begin to go forward. So when Saturn was in Aries, which was a particularly tough one because Saturn in Aries is basically when you're trying to get things done, but you can't go forward. It's like you're trying to go forward, but they keep giving you another bag of cement to carry. It's like, some more response. It's like, I just want to go do this, and you just can't get to it. So when that went forward, and for me especially, I mean, it was crazy. Like last year for that Saturn, it's particularly personal for me as well because I'm a Capricorn, and there was just things I was trying to get off the ground last year that just wouldn't go. And the second it went direct, now it's flying. I'm flying right now. I'm like, there's stuff coming in for me like all over the place. It's just nuts. And I said to Liz last night, I just said, the other night, I said, this is just like whacked. This is so whacked. Like, because I haven't, you tend to think, well, I did this and I didn't do anything. It just all of a sudden comes now. Yeah.
You can feel the release sometimes when it happens, like the day that it changes. And I don't know if that's like a mental placebo or not because the day, right? But I find that everything lightens up. You could just feel the lightening up. And invariably, if I go and look for information, it is something has been retrograde that is no longer retrograde, or something has moved into X house of whatever that is now making my life a whole lot easier. So yes, thank you, and when will it happen again? That's what I look for. So I don't know. I find this really fascinating. I am going to look into this Udemy course. So thank you very much for mentioning that after all these months.
If I could, I think I can give you it for free. I'll have to have a look. I think you do tokens.
I will take it.
I'll send you it.
I will take it. We're going to take a break.
It's good.
I would, I would have no doubt because, and I've said this before, I've talked to a lot of astrologers in my time and they're more like, Tuesday's going to be a bad day for you. Well, okay, great. But yours are, I don't even want to say next level because it is so beyond that you I tell everybody, you got in my head for 3 days. I didn't like it, but was it necessary? Yeah, it was necessary. And was it beneficial? And was it life-changing? 100% straight around. So anyway, we're going to take a break. We're going to hear from our sponsors. We're coming back. We're with Francis Dunnery. We're talking Behind the Curtain, and we are going to be talking about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Stay tuned. back to Behind the Curtain. I am Donna Saul. I am with astrologer extraordinaire Francis Dunnery, and we are talking today about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, a.k.a. formerly known as Prince Andrew, no longer stripped of his title because of his activities with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was interesting what you said before when you said now he's Andrew Mountbatten. He was always Andrew. Mm-hmm. Because the prince, and that's all made up in the social world, in the ego world. Right. There's no such thing as the Queen or the Pope. We made them up.
We made them up, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Prince Andrew's made up. So first of all, this illusion of the life that he's a prince. No, he isn't. He's just Andrew. It's like Andrew from
down the street.
From Andrew from down the street, right? So he's been cast in this role in his fate to do this prince thing, right? So he's doing this prince thing, or maybe now we can call him Prints, Andrew.
Why?
Prince.
Yeah, Prince.
I always said that about Prince, the artist Prince. I always said this, like when somebody should do a kind of karaoke version of it, and just call it Prince, Prints, Prince. Anyway, so I think, first of all, we have to acknowledge that with Leo rising and with Uranus in Leo in the first house, people's not going to take too kindly to the way he comes off, because he's going to come off as brash and arrogant. I'll tell you who's got the same thing, Sting. That kind of, even though he's like a brilliant musician, there's just something about, there's an arrogant kind of, like when Leo goes wrong like that, let me say it this way, when Leo goes right, they're absolutely fantastic to be around. They're really great, but when a Leo hasn't done their thing, they become a bit, it's just not, it's not a nice thing. And I think probably growing up with Leo rising, and given the benefits that he's had, he probably didn't use that too well. You know what I mean? He was given this, flag or whatever you want to call it, and he probably, didn't use it too well. However, and also having Uranus there, he was just a bit he wasn't really like a normal guy. There was something weird about him to begin with Uranus in the first house. He's not gonna present himself as like a regular royal, even though he's got 3 planets in Capricorn, which I'm going to talk about next. And so he's got this kind of, arrogance about him, which you can understand why people would dislike him. But he's actually one of the most sensitive people you could ever meet. Ridiculously, profoundly sensitive and intuitive, which is weird. He's got the moon in Scorpio. Now, one of the things he's got and this is because you talked about his mother, the Queen. That wasn't really what was important for him. What was important was his father. He's got Neptune and the moon in the 4th house, so he's got a sad, really sad story, a sense of suffering about his father. There's something about the story with his father and the moon in Scorpio where he might have been completely connected to him. Scorpio's always looking for a one-on-one. Pisces is kind of universal love, it's like the hippies were all, we love, we love the universe. The Pisceans love the universe, where Scorpio will love you if you're loyal to them. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're in a cupboard with, like Scorpios, I always say it's me and you in a cupboard. So if you're in a relationship with a Scorpio, you've got to know that about them, because if you can't navigate that, you're in deep trouble. Mm-hmm. Because the Scorpios will suss you out in 2 seconds. You're either with them or they're not. And you can't pretend to be with them because they'll know. Mm-hmm. You're either in it, you're going to take a bullet with them, or no. Mm-hmm. And so he had this thing with his father where he perpetually tried to get with him, but there's a sad story there. So even though he wanted that, he probably couldn't make the grade of being his father's favourite. But he was bound up with his father. He couldn't get away from his father. He was bound up with his father at such a deep level, a one-on-one. They even though he had the sad story, there was still an understanding between the two. Like that they were together in some way. Like he was together in in a deeper way than psychology, almost like they shared something, and it might have been the stuff that you were talking to me about in the break. But they shared secrets. That's what it is. They shared secrets. So him and the father had a secret. There were secrets going on with him. Do you understand?
Oh, I understand. Yes.
And he's profoundly sensitive to that. But when we look at his 8th house, which is the house of relationships, it's the house of where you join with. It's the Scorpio house. Again, the Scorpio theme comes up. It's also the house of death, where you let go of yourself. He's a Pisces, this guy. This guy's first day of Pisces. He's got Mercury in Pisces. He's completely tuned in to other people. Like, you see this play out with his wife Fergie, I think. I think you could see it play out like they're together, like they're absolutely together. So he's made that bond with her. Even though they're not together in terms of, they're romantically or anything like that, they never grew. They were always scorpionic, them two.
Right. They still live together, right? I mean, they share the same house.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
They share the same house, the kids and all the stuff like that. And he's such a nice guy like that. This is why I say to you, it's tragic, because he's a gentle, soft guy. Behind his image, there's 3 planets in Capricorn, which I'll talk to you about in a second. That's his royal thing. But without that, this is just a really nice, sweet guy who's like, he's gentle. He's a gentle guy, this guy. The moon in Scorpio and the sun in Pisces, he's not a horrible person. It's a very empathetic, compassionate, caring man. You'll see it when he's with his family and with Fergie. But the sense of suffering that he picks up from that moon, from that sun in the 8th house, the sex house. So he's come to suffering. Now, let me ask you a question, because I don't actually know. Was he actually convicted of paedophilia?
No, he's just on the lists, and women have come forward.
But he's not been convicted, has he?
In the court of public opinion. I mean, not legally, no, but I don't know that will ever happen. But I mean, so many women have identified him as a sex partner when they were children. So who do you believe? Right. I believe the women. Right. So
well, I mean, I would too, but he hasn't actually been convicted.
This is where I roll my eyes and fall onto the floor. You know that, right? I mean, I am biting my finger. Like, you're such a nice guy, and I so want to say so many things, but I'm not. Yeah, he might be, but I mean, I think he's guilty. So, and I think a lot of other people.
Well, I think he's guilty too, but that's not what we're talking about. I absolutely think he's guilty of it. I mean, intuitively, I think he's been, but he hasn't actually been convicted of it.
No,
so
he's not. No, formally has not been convicted, and he probably.
So they've either kept him away from it, or somebody's been told not to go after him. Probably,
Yeah. Just like a lot of the other people on the list. Big names,
I think the royal establishment is a pretty tough thing to deal with, I would say.
And I think it's probably tough to grow up in too. So what you're saying about him and his mother and his father, I never get, and not that I'm not a big royal watcher, but instinctively I never get the impression that there was any kind of raising of children in that environment. There was the kind of the grooming of children to be something, to keep the monarchy alive because it produces so much income. And
in Britain they call it privileged abandonment, where they drop their children off at these posh public schools and then they just leave them.
Yeah.
And they learn that hardship there. But let me look at the more brutal side of Prince Andrew here, but I do want to establish in the beginning that at the bottom line, this is a very sensitive man. This is somebody who will be like, it's not gonna. I will not be surprised, and I don't know whether I can say this on.
We're about to find out, and Eric has his finger on the button, so go ahead.
Okay, if he would commit suicide, this guy.
You can say that.
You
would not be surprised?
No, not at all. With that 8th house sun in Pisces, like because you see, the 3 planets in Capricorn gives him. Capricorn's always like social height. It's like, I'm one of these, and what did I get, and who am I, and I'm a this, and I'm a that, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, and I'm that kind of. Capricorn's always like, what did I get? Like, who am I because of what I do? Capricorn's full of that. It's like that social stuff, right? He's got Venus in Capricorn, which means he's given this at birth. He's got Mars in Capricorn conjunct Venus on top of it, and he's got Saturn in Capricorn. So this is a slave to society. That's how that comes off. So he's going to consider himself a slave to society. And the problem he's got is, and I know this is a bit, I don't want to get too technical on here because it's not right, but he's had Pluto going over those planets, Pluto in the sky today, going over those planets for the last 12 years. And Pluto it brings everything to the surface for to look at it for renewal. So this is a guy who in his fate, though all those things that he loved about himself, the regalia and the royalty and the horse parades and the blah, he's like being banished from it for being mixed up with with this Epstein guy and with these underage girls. Right? And you also have to look at, if you're going to be brave enough to look at this, you have to, which is a heavy conversation to get into. I tried to have this conversation once at one of my talks, and people just can't handle the conversation of when nature says it's okay. This is the Muslim thing. It's the same thing with the Muslims. What they say that there's no, like a menstrual cycle will indicate that nature has said it's okay to go forward for intimacy. And that's a red rag. I mean, because I've got 3 daughters. Yeah. I'll kill somebody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got your priorities in order. Yeah. Okay.
But think about that, because even at that, it's so tragic. Like the whole thing is just, it's crazy. It's like when they used to burn witches for saying things in the past, and then they later found out that that's what it is. This is what this is like the Muslim argument, or this is what, if you talk to a biologist, they would say, or even if you just take a dog, let's take a dog. Oh, well, the dog's on heat. That means that we can breed the dog. We do it with everything else other than our own, because like myself, I'm so protective about my daughters. I mean, you're going to kill somebody if anybody even thinks about it. Like, I'm not joking, dude. I'm seriously not joking. But you can't hide that is an issue.
Yeah.
Because there's a big difference between, people say, like, if we go back to like the 70s and stuff, I remember teachers of mine dating some of the pupils. Which was, it's still weird back then, but not like, there was like 18-year-olds dating 15-year-olds. We didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, actually. Yeah. I mean, there was people look at things very differently. I mean, the same things have been going on for centuries. It's just that people look at them differently now, right? So it's, in my school too. I mean, I went to Catholic school, and one of the nuns who taught us got pregnant and had to leave when she couldn't hide it anymore. And we were like really messed up about that, because, you're, the nuns and the priest and all this kind of crazy stuff. And here's this nun like 8 months pregnant in class, and we're all like, what? We can't wear patent leather shoes to dances because you're afraid someone is going to, look up our dress. And we got this pregnant nun. It was weird. It was
these are great, but see, now this conversation we're having now, you're not allowed to have this conversation. You can't have that, because I mean, let's be realistic. Hot nuns is wrong. You just got to be honest about that.
Well, my question was, how did he get to the bottom of that? Because they had these big old habits on and the big head things, and oh my goodness, the rosaries, and it's crazy. Anyway.
So let me go back here. So we've got a guy here who's loving the regalia, who's loving his position. He's like everything about him. Yeah. And then other parts of it, the guy's fated for this. Like it's, and this is why it's tragic, is because he couldn't get away from his own fate.
Yeah. Is it like he got built up only to be stripped back?
No, he was always going to do this. It was his life. The guy's got to deal with this in his life. Like, it's not a case of like, well, I mean, we do deal with potential. It's always potentially there, but it has a habit of just coming true. It's like when a blue flower, you plant a seed for the blue flower, the chances are it's going to come blue. It might not, it's potentially, but probably it is going to become blue. And so when we look at astrology charts, I look at them and I think, man, that's what that guy has. I have things to deal with in my life. I've got Pluto square the moon, so I'm never going to be safe in my life. That's just how it is. It just isn't. There's nobody coming to save me. And I like to say to people with the Pluto moon, I like to say what Liz Green said. She said, you got to give up the dream of mother.
Yeah.
And notice how deep that is, the dream of mother. There's no mother coming for me. It doesn't exist. There's nobody coming. So I can sit around sulking and waiting for mother to come. She ain't coming. She never did. And she's not coming. So it's like, get over yourself. But that's my fate. So I've got to parent myself. And I look at this guy's chart and I go, not that I condone what he did. I don't mean it like that. I don't mean like, oh, that's good and I agree with. No, absolutely not. No chance. What I'm saying is, wow, this Saul, this guy, look at the fate he has to have. Yeah. Look what he was given, and then now he's got to figure that out.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's just say, for instance, we all come back, reincarnation's true, and then, but on this time it's like, oh wow, poor old Andrew is picked a good one here.
Doing this again. But
you know what I mean?
Yeah, isn't it liberating though? Like when Liz said that to you, isn't it liberating to hear it, know it? Because when I did my reading with you and some of the things that you told me, it was because in my head I knew these things, right? But you don't know if they're normal or right or how they fit and what can you do about them? And you can't do anything about them because they are what they are. And so the understanding that they exist within the framework of who you are is quite liberating in many ways, because now you can navigate around them. You can understand how to deal with them. You cannot think there's something wrong with you. I think that there's a lot of value in that.
Well, I think so. I think there's always a positive and negative way you can express things. There's a yin and yang of everything. So that's the good thing about being conscious of what your process is. When I look at the machine that I am, and I look at it and I go, that's how that works. I see, that's why I'm doing that, and that's, and then I have a choice. It gives you a choice. Like, do you want to do that? You can just, go crazy if you want, but you can do it this way. That's the good thing about it. You don't have to do it that way, and so becoming conscious of it, it doesn't necessarily get rid of the issues, or it doesn't, I think that's the mistake a lot of people make. They think the more, enlightened you are, it makes it easy. It doesn't. You just get, it doesn't at all. It just gets complicated, and you become more aware of yourself. That's what it is.
Yeah. On that note, we got to wrap it up. Fascinating as always. Thank you so much. So I'm going to throw this in. You can learn about astrology on Udemy from Francis, and you can book an appointment with him at francisdunneryastro.com. So thank you. We're going to talk next week. You said you would do Eric, some of Eric's people. Let's do Eric.
I'll do Eric's people.
Can we do Eric?
We'll do that.
Can we do you?
Well, yeah.
Let's do Eric. I'm only kidding. He's getting all red. All right, we're going to wrap it up. This has been Behind the Curtain. I'm Donna Saul with Francis Dunnery. Podcast will be up right after the show. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.